On a freezing New York City morning, the streets were nearly silent, save for the distant clatter of garbage trucks making their rounds. Amid the gray hush, hidden in a narrow alley between two old brick buildings, sat Clara May, a 66-year-old woman with silver hair tucked beneath a wool cap, her frail body wrapped in a patchwork coat. She was invisible to most, just another forgotten soul drifting through the city's cold currents. But today, something changed. With trembling fingers, Clara reached into her satchel and pulled out a worn harmonica, its metal dulled by time and the hardships of street life. She lifted it to her lips and blew gently. A sound emerged, soft at first, then fuller, deeper, spilling into the air like a secret being set free. It wasn't just music, it was a cry, a memory, a prayer. The melody echoed through the alley, drifting out into the sidewalk where early risers hurried past. A young coffee shop owner stopped mid-step. Across the street, a woman with a child in hand slowed down. One by one, people paused, drawn in by something they couldn't quite explain. They didn't know who Clara May was. They didn't know her story. But the sorrow and strength in her song gripped their hearts. In that moment, she wasn't just a homeless woman playing a tune. She was a storyteller, a survivor, speaking a language that needed no words. And for the first time in years, Clara was heard. Years before the alley and the harmonica, Clara May lived a very different life. She was a beloved music teacher at a public school, known for her warm smile and the way she made children believe they could do anything with a melody. Her world revolved around her daughter, Lily, a bright, musical soul who shared Clara's love for song. Together, they wrote a simple tune, no lyrics, just harmony, something they played every night before bed. They called it the safe song. Then tragedy struck. A sudden car accident took Lily's life, and with her, Clara's light. The grief was unbearable, endless. As months passed, unpaid bills turned into debt. Clara lost her job, then her home. One by one, the pillars of her life crumbled. She drifted into the shadows of the city, shelters, park benches, subway platforms, with nothing left but the harmonica Lily once gave her. Yet, every night, no matter where she was, Clara played the safe song. Just once. Just enough to remember love, to hold on to something real. The tune became her heartbeat, her way of breathing through the pain. It had no words, yet it spoke volumes, of loss, of longing, of fierce motherly love that refused to die. It was not for others. Not until now. That song, born in a warm home, raised in heartbreak, had been waiting for someone to hear it. And finally, after all these years, the world was listening. Outside the coffee shop, life moved on, brisk walkers, honking horns, steaming cups in gloved hands. But Clara's music floated through it all like a ghost from another time. Sitting on the curb with his guitar case in hand, 22-year-old street performer Tyler froze mid-step. The melody pierced something deep inside him. It wasn't just the notes, it was the raw ache behind them, the kind only real suffering could shape. He slowly approached Clara, who didn't look up at first. "Ma'am," he said, voice trembling, "I've heard thousands of songs, none ever stopped me like this." Clara looked at him, wary, unsure, but saw the sincerity in his young eyes. Tyler held up his phone gently. "May I record it? People need to hear this." Clara hesitated. This song had been her private tether to life, her daughter's voice echoing through the years. But something about Tyler, his heart, his respect, felt safe. Slowly, she nodded. That night, in a small apartment lit by string lights and ambition, Tyler uploaded the video to his channel. He titled it, "The Song with No Words." Played by an angel in the alley. By morning, it had gone viral. Comment sections flooded with emotion. "Who is this woman? This song saved my life tonight. This is what the world needs right now." Clara May, once invisible, was suddenly seen. Her pain had turned into power. And the song that kept her alive was now breathing life into millions. A week later, Clara May stood at the edge of a world she never dreamed of re-entering. The small concert hall was packed wall to wall, students, musicians, reporters, strangers who had cried while listening to her video. The stage lights glowed softly, casting warmth over the grand piano at center stage. Clara walked toward it slowly, her patched coat replaced by a borrowed shawl, her eyes wide, uncertain. Tyler stood beside her, giving her hand a gentle squeeze. "Don't worry about the crowd," he whispered. "Just play it like you always did, with your heart." Clara sat, her fingers hovering above the keys. For a moment, her hands trembled. The room held its breath. Then, she began. The same haunting melody from the harmonica now flowed through ivory keys. Richer, fuller, yet still deeply intimate. Each note told a chapter, of love lost, of nights alone, of a mother's silent hope echoing through cold alleyways. People in the audience closed their eyes. Some wept. Others simply sat still, the kind of stillness that only true beauty commands. As the final note lingered in the air, there was a moment of silence so deep it felt holy. Then came the roar. A thunderous standing ovation rose like a wave. People cheered, clapped, cried out her name. But Clara just sat there, smiling softly through tears. After all these years, her song was no longer a whisper in the dark. It had become a light. And now, the world was lit by it. Sunlight spilled through the window of Clara May's new apartment, warming the small living room filled with plants, framed photos, and soft blankets. Her grand piano sat proudly by the window, its lid always open, waiting. Birds chirped outside. The walls, once silent, now echoed with laughter and music. Clara now lived in a cozy assisted living home, thanks to the city's outreach program. Donations from strangers, touched by her story, helped fund not just her care, but her comfort. She wasn't alone anymore. Nurses knew her name. Neighbors stopped in to hear her play. Every weekend, Tyler visited. Sometimes they played duets. Sometimes they just talked. He had become like a grandson, and she, the grandmother he never had. In this new life, Clara didn't need to play just to survive. Now she played to share, to teach, to remember. The same song, once her lifeline, now became her gift to the world. And as the camera slowly zooms out, sunlight illuminating her peaceful smile, the narration closes. Sometimes, the quietest songs are the ones that save us. And sometimes, the ones the world forgets are the ones who remind us what humanity truly sounds like.